Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. So tonight we're going to be making anti-pasto pull-apart pizza.
Which is a mouthful, right? Because I'm funny. But it's a tasty one. This recipe is simple but full of flavor. You're going to enjoy it.
Everything you do is amazing. Ain't nobody got to go crazy. I got what you need.
So let's get to cooking. First we're going to start off with some Pillsbury French bread roll. And as you can see, I have one laid out. You need 2 rolls of this. I'm going to use my coated bread knife. And I'm going to slice this lengthwise down the center. And I actually have the roll where you can separate it just so that I can follow that line. And I don't have to guess. I'm just going to slowly slice through this roll and break it into 2 halves. Then, about every ½ inch, you cut through and make 2 half moons. And you're going to do this through the length of the entire roll and even into the second one. Alright, so we finished slicing this up. We have these cute little half moons of the dough. Now we have our round stone, which is so versatile. You can use it with so many things. And we're going to take our silicone basting brush and some olive oil and just coat this stone. And we're going to end up laying the dough all the way around the stone and in the center, about a ½ inch apart from each other. So we're going to take these little half moons and we're going to place them around the entire stone. And you want to place the outside edge about 1 inch from the inside, because as these cook, they're going to expand. And you're going to leave about a ½ inch space between each of the dough pieces. They are kind of sticky, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said before, just get it on there and it'll be great. As you can see, we have some leftover dough. Not going to worry about that. I am going to take my silicone basting brush and just brush the top of these dough pieces. So we've coated all the bread pieces with the oil. Now I'm going to put it in the oven. We've already preset the oven to 400 degrees, and we're going to let these cook up for about 15 minutes. Always put the stone on the center rack. That doesn't damage the stone and everything cooks nice and even. Alright, so while the bread is cooking in the oven, we're going to start putting together our ingredients that's going to go on top of the bread. And the beautiful part about this recipe is you can use some creativity here. If you don't like some ingredients or you want something different, you can put whatever you want on here. So for us, we're keeping it just veggies, but if you wanted to add meat, you certainly could. I'm going to start with the peppers, and I'm going to start slicing these up with the utility knife. We're just going to cut through here. I'm going to dice these peppers up. I'm actually going to use about 2 peppers, but like I said, you can use whatever you want, however much or however little of any ingredient you'd like. So after we're done cutting up the peppers, this is where I'm being a little creative. I love sun-dried tomatoes, so I'm going to add that to the recipe. Brie does not, so I'm going to put it on the half that I'm going to eat. And again, I'm going to use my utility knife. There's also a coated utility knife that you can use. Either one, great and sharp. And you can use it on this perfect cutting board, which is the grooved cutting board. It's my go-to for everything. It has a nice groove around the edge, so that if you are cutting up something that's a little juicy, you can move the juices to the side and it doesn't interfere with your slicing or dicing. But for this, I'm just cutting it in strips and getting it ready to put in our mixture. So now I have the sun-dried tomatoes in the mixing bowls. These are 3 bowls that come together. They're stainless steel. They nest inside each other. I use them nearly daily. I'm gonna put the peppers in with the sun-dried tomatoes. And now we're gonna go on to cutting up the olives, which Brie has already eaten most of. But I'm gonna use the egg slicer for these. And I know it's the egg slicer, but anything that is kind of soft, strawberries, olives, you can put in here. It has this little dip in the center so that you can add the olives or the eggs or the strawberries. And then you bring down this little piece right on top and it slices them for you nice and easily. For olives especially, they're a little juicy, so you're gonna wanna kind of hold it over the bowl. Squeeze down, and boom, nice and sliced. Just put these into the mixture, and you're gonna do these with all of the olives, or at least the ones that I have left. So I've mentioned this before, the chopper is one of my favorite tools. And I'm using one of my flexible mats that you can get when you host a party or buy anything over $80 in a show. And I'm gonna take our artichokes and place them right on the mat. For smaller things, you can put them right in this little cup and it keeps everything contained for you. But with the artichokes, there's too many. So I'm just gonna pile them all up and I'm gonna feed them all underneath this chopper. And then I got to take out some aggression and just start chopping these things up. So now I'm gonna take our artichokes and put them into the mixture into our stainless steel bowl. And we just have one more ingredient to add to that, and then we're gonna put it on top of our bread. All right, so now we have this mixture in the stainless steel mixing bowl. We're adding couple more ingredients, one more main one, garlic, and I love it. So I'm gonna take the garlic cloves and use our garlic press. And you can just load the garlic cloves in the garlic press with the skin and everything. Turn this over, squeeze out the garlic. No skin goes into your mixture. So now we have everything in the bowl and I'm gonna mix everything together. It has an amazing aroma. You're gonna love this. But whatever you choose to put into it is going to smell great. And then I usually use a little salt, pepper, and whatever seasoning you prefer. In this case, I'm using a Mediterranean seasoning and adding this to the mixture. And this is gonna go on top of the bread when it's ready to come out of the oven. All right, so we took our bread out of the oven. Some of the pieces didn't exactly stick together. That's okay, don't worry about that. It will stick together when we add the cheese. I put my stone right on top of the cooling rack. That just helps it cool a little faster. I'm gonna take some Parmesan cheese and just sprinkle it right over the top, very liberally. I love cheese, so it's not hard for me to add a little extra. And then we take our Anti-Pasto mixture and spread that all over the top. And again, you can be pretty liberal with this. We've got tons of it. It smells fantastic. And you coat this through the entire bread. Great. So now you can see all the bread pieces are on the bottom. We've got Parmesan cheese in the middle, and we have our Anti-Pasto on top. Now we're gonna add some mozzarella on top of that. And this is going to be just a glorious, very flavorful, cheesy mixture. And people are just gonna be able to grab at these bread pieces, pull them apart, and eat them. It's gonna be amazing. So I'm gonna take this for about 5 more minutes, put it in the oven just to melt this cheese, get all this married together. Again, keep it on the center rack. We have our oven still at 400, 5 minutes, it'll be perfect. So I'm using my silicone oven mitts to take this out of the oven. I don't know if you've ever taken out something that had maybe some juice in it. So these are great to protect you from the heat, but also from any liquid that may come and slosh around. This isn't the case with this dish, but they're great all the same. I'm gonna take this out of the oven, and look at that cheesy goodness. We're gonna pull this apart and take a bite. Can't wait. So this looks great as is, but if you want to make a little extra for the presentation, you can take some fresh parsley and use the chopper. And as I mentioned, this little bottom piece, you can use to kind of contain whatever you're chopping, and that's what we're gonna do with this parsley. Put right in the bottom, chop it up. It can be pretty coarse, doesn't have to be too fancy. And then just take it and sprinkle it on top. Look how fabulous that looks. So this looks amazing, and it's gonna taste even better. Wouldn't you like to taste it? Let's have a party. I know some people are a little nervous about the virus and how that's gonna work with an in-home party. We're gonna take every precaution necessary to keep you and your guests safe. I'm gonna leave it up to you how many guests you want to invite. But let's do this, and let's eat.